Good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for Monday, March 25th, 2019. The weekend's over. It was a really fun weekend for me. I had a great time, and I'm just as happy to be back at work this morning. We got a lot of opportunity in today's market. We don't have the lighting set up today. We'll have it set up tomorrow. I commit to having a better lit environment. So we're all about quality here at Trade Pro Academy. All right, hope you had a great weekend with your family and your loved ones, and you're ready to get down to business. It's going to be an exciting week. We have some opportunity. There's a lot of reports and developments we'll talk about. But let's get started out with a morning market fun fact. The 10-year U.S. Treasury yield fell 0.136%, and that was last week. Its largest decline since the week that ended in December 17th, or December 7th, rather. To end 2018, we saw a big pressure to the downside on yield curves, and the 10-year spread was really selling off really quickly on the yields. And when that yield curve inverts, it's predicted a recession accurately 100% of the times in the past. All right. And so that's where a lot of the fear for investors was. That yield curve has rebounded since then. However, we've had the worst week since December 7th last week on the 2 and 10-year spread, which is called the yield curve. All right. That's what it's referred to. That's the one that most investors track. Institutional money fund managers, etc. But the actual real yield curve is all the maturities across the scope or the spectrum. All right. That week, the S&P 500 fell 4.6% in December 7th. And last week, we dropped 0.8%. So the S&P 500 ended down as the yield curve dropped off. All right. The Nikkei closed down 3%. Shanghai closed 2% lower. So a really bad day, very bearish in Asian markets so far. We're seeing a little bit of sell-off in Europe and the U.S. as well in the morning. But for the most part, it's bounced back, and we're back to yesterday's previous day's low and the previous day's close after seeing a bit of a dump on the open on Globex. All right. Fed's Charles Evans said that I think we have a little bit to be nervous about here, and they're referring to the U.S. Treasury curve and the inversion of the 2-month and the 10-year. So the 10-year actually sloped negative, but it did not invert yet. Whereas the 3-month, I'll tell you guys what, I just turned the camera. All right, how about that? Is that better? Because the light's coming in from behind me. Should be better. Let me see. All right, much better. You guys can see the coat hangers are back. All right, so the 2 and 10-year yield curve started to slope negative, but the 3-month and 10-year have actually inverted. They're below the zero line and went to minus temporarily on Friday and rebounded. But the fact that it went minus has sent a signal to the economy and to all traders, investors, that we're seeing some potential weakness in the economic figures, and we could be headed for a recession here. Now, a lot of investors, market participants have been calling for a recession last year, and the more people that call for it, the less likely it is to happen. All right, that's sort of how these markets work. If everybody's expecting it, it doesn't happen. Now that pressure sort of backed off, and we're seeing some economic deterioration, like the jobs numbers, inflation's coming in lower, and now this 3-month and 10-year yield curve inversion is suggesting that we're potentially on the beginning stages of something that could have more contagion spread and cause some more economic downside, which could lead to a recession. At which point, there's been very few market scenarios where we've had a recession and the market has rallied. It has happened before, but long time ago. And this time around, because it's more of a global interconnected marketplace, I see that the market would start to drop with the economy. And that's what the markets are worried about. Plus, this week, we have a lot of unknown events. We're going to move on to the next topic. Robert Mueller released his report on the weekend, and he did not find there was evidence to suggest there was collusion between the Donald Trump administration and the Russian government. All right, this is causing shockwaves throughout politics. This is not a political show, nor do I endorse any one political opinion over the other, because politics, for some reason, really rubs people a certain way. And we don't go into that. But I'll tell you this. The report, what it said was, this is fact, said there was enough evidence to suggest collusion, but it doesn't mean he's fully exonerated anyways. And he left it off to William Barr, the AG, to make a decision on that. So Donald Trump obviously celebrated that on Twitter. He said completely exonerated, no collusion, witch hunt, whatever he said. And the market took it positively initially. The market gapped up on the S&P 500 about 6 points. We closed at 2806 half, rallied up to 28.11 or so, so 5.5 point rally. And that was quickly sold off in the later stages of Globex. We're doing a market analysis live webinar last night, and markets were dropping. One of our members were actually, more than one, I'm presuming, but the one that was there was making money. He said, I'm already short. I love that. Good job, Seth. Very proud of you. All right. Another big thing in the docket today is, well, first of all, let's go back to the Mueller thing. I don't think this thing is fully priced in yet. I think the market's a little confused about what the next steps are going to be. So you're going to hear some updates throughout the day, some news squawks. Be sure you have access to a wire or some kind of real-time news source. We use Trade the News, and our subscribers or TradePro members have exclusive access to that at a discounted price, which is not available to the public. You unfortunately have to be part of the team in order to get that as per our agreement with Trade the News. But it's a professional news wire that's used in proprietary trading companies around the world. It's real-time audible squawks. So when news comes in, somebody will read it out for you so you could react and do the trade. Because sometimes when you're reading news, if you're looking at Twitter, by the time you read it, you're like, okay, now I know what to do. You look at the market, it's already moved. So you got to be quicker to the punch. All right, watch out for some tape bombs today. I got a sense they're coming out of that report. All right, YouTube is exiting Hollywood. They had some plans to make some dramas and series, and they're scrapping those plans. They said they're going to focus on music and gaming. All right, which is YouTube is Google. Obviously, Google announced a game console, and so they're scrapping those plans at a very interesting time as Apple's stepping in and saying that they want to get into Hollywood. They want to start producing original content, series, movies, etc. So today at 1 p.m. Eastern, they're going to announce a streaming video platform that includes original programming, similar to Netflix. All right, so Apple is sort of with this admitting that they're needing some innovation, and I agree with them. I think Apple's sold the same iPhone over and over with a better camera and slightly better chip and more memory for too many iterations, 10 phones in, and it's the same thing. It's just a phone that hasn't been massively innovated. Yes, things like fingerprint technology, et cetera, has come out, and they need to sort of innovate and push the boundary for the next product. They pulled their iPhone unit reporting in their earnings, which means, obviously, who does that? Who says, I'm going to stop reporting iPhone sales? A company who believes iPhone sales aren't going to do that great. All right, so they're starting to mature in sales there. Still a massive generator of revenue, but it's slowing down. The growth is slowing down. And so they're trying to get into something new. So 1 p.m. Eastern today, Apple's going to have a special press conference and an event that Tim Cook is going to lead and is going to announce more details of the streaming platform. Watch for that. That's going to be a big event for Apple, and Apple's a big driver for overall markets. It's a massive company, and it'll have effect. All right, so let's just tally up the news. There's a Mueller report. There's Apple reporting at 1 p.m., and we're going to get more details. And as the details come out, the stock will fluctuate, the price of in. We also have Theresa May and the Brexit scenario. And there's a lot of things going on this week to start the session. All right, so today's markets, as we talked, Asia's flat across the board, or negative rather. Japan's leading the way, down 3%. In Europe, at midday, London's down 0.6, Paris is down 0.5%, Frankfurt's down 0.4%. And in the U.S., stocks have paired some of their losses from early on to get to the closing price of Friday. So we're basically back to where we started. All right, I do see in today's session a rally up initially, and then afterwards, I see some selling pressure coming in if we stay below that 28.18 level that we put as an overnight high before we started the Sunday session. All right. Gold is up 0.4. Crude is down 0.6%. Bitcoin's flat, under 4,000 once again. On today's economic calendar, we have 8:30 Chicago Fed National Activity Index. We already had that. 10:30 we have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Survey. It's important to see these latest manufacturing numbers after the market PMI showed a real big weakness last week. All right, so that's what we're kind of faced with. A weakening economy and some cracks starting to show, a more concerned Fed who's taken a reaction to it, and a 3-month 10-year yield curve that's officially inverted, and a 2-year 10-year yield curve that's declining. All right, and so this is the environment we're in. We saw a lot of institutional money get in last week, but this week I'm seeing a little bit of nerves, and I think that's going to transpire to weakness through the first 2 days of the week. I'm expecting a sell-off Monday to Tuesday. Wednesday, maybe we'll see some support. Thursday, Friday, recovery. It's going to be an interesting week. There's a lot of news, a lot of events. You belong in a good community. I invite you to be part of ours. We meet and trade every morning together, 9 to 11 a.m. live with all of our members. And we know how good we do because we do a poll and we help those that we always ask the question, if it's a bad day and they happen. I don't know one trader who doesn't have a bad day. All right, bad days happen. If you're following somebody and every single day is a golden day and they're, they have a horseshoe up there, you know what? Something's going on. All right, these markets aren't meant to generate 100% reliable profit every single day. It's not a consistent job. It always fluctuates, and that's the beauty of it. Anywho, jump in our community, check us out. We got a great trading room, an amazing set of members. I love them all so much, and we have a great thing going. Check out what we do. Today we're going to be trading. I'm going to actually turn off the broadcast now and get started with the team. We got a lot of levels to look at. I'm going to cover S&P. Mark will do Dow, and then I'll flip it back to myself to cover oil. So you guys have a great day. Be cautious out there. And listen to the news. 1 p.m. today, Apple's got a big event. And before then, I'm getting just a sixth sense, if you will, from doing this for almost 20 years, that something's going to come out. All right. I don't know why. It just seems like a calm before a storm. Keep your ears glued to the wire and your eyes to the screens. We'll see you tomorrow. Manage your risk, take a TRADEPRO, and start out slower this morning. Start out less contract size, less trades, take profit quicker, and adjust and scale as the volatility comes in. You guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate y'all, and goodbye. We'll have the lighting set up tomorrow so you don't have to look at a bare wall. That's where we put our shoes on. I don't know if you guys could see this. Justin's desk over here. The kind-hearted Azalea. And she gave us a little peek. And then Marky's over here making a coffee. You guys want a coffee on YouTube? And we still have some boxes that we got to sort of unpack. That's our little chill space over there, couch with TV, where I play NHL 16 for some reason, even though it's 2019. And that's it. Goodbye, guys. Over to the team room. Let's talk about some levels on the S&P 500.